Have you ever felt like a source of news was not credible enough? Ever asked yourself why there are so many opinions on just one single issue, and which one should you even believe in? Or have you ever wondered why we go for the headlines and not for the meaning that is hiding somewhere between those lines? There's an ocean of whys, and we cannot guess all the questions coming to your mind. But what we can surely help you with is to understand how you can take in information, find the facts, and interpret them in their true sense without getting manipulated. More importantly, by the end of this video, we will show you how you can cut through the unnecessary noise that might divert you from the issues in hand. Fake news is a problem that has taken control over all of our lives and is causing unimaginable situations that people have to deal with on a daily basis. Make sure to share this wherever you can, especially those WhatsApp groups and social media pages that continue to share biased information. Before we go ahead, scroll down and subscribe to our channel with the notification bell on so that you can stay updated on our later videos. Let us first understand why we are drawn towards fake news. Ever got into a debate on which is better, Apple or Android? Well, you're lucky if you haven't. In this debate, we tend to defend our favorite OS and trash the other, without even considering the good points of either. No matter how logical the other person may sound, we will stick to our favorite one, and when we are out of answers, we might even agree to sound stupid just to win the argument. This is what we call bias. Bias is the main reason why we believe in any information, whether it has logic or not, because it is supporting the thoughts and understanding we already have. This is dangerous because it is always engraving itself in our subconscious mind. The longer we stay biased, the more we move away from logic and facts which are true in the utmost sense. The different types of biases deserve a separate video, and we'll bring that to you very soon. Now, let's continue with this video. Let me give you an example of how dangerous fake news can be with the infamous Palghar lynching case back in April 2020. A video emerged of a mob attacking two sadhus and vandalizing a car. There were several narratives to the same story. Two sadhus, along with their driver, were traveling to attend the funeral of their guru in Surat. Around 10 p.m., as they were passing through a village, a forest department guard stopped their car at a local checkpoint. While they were talking to the guard, a group came and attacked them with sticks and axes. A gruesome video had also surfaced, which showed parts of the incidents and how the mob brutally attacked the sadhus. The police had tried to control the mob, but based on some reports, they were also beaten up when they tried to intervene. 4 policemen and a senior police officer were injured. Several narratives came up due to this incident, one of them being that the mob belonged to the Muslim community and they attacked the Hindu sadhu as a hate crime. But later, the actual report showed that the victims were mistaken for being child thieves and organ harvesters, as the locals had heard such rumors. Firstly, the mob attacked the innocent sadhus, their driver, and the policemen based on some rumors they heard. And then, several politicians and news media used this opportunity to further their agenda and spread hatred. There are many organizations which work on debunking fake news, but the bias is so deeply rooted in people that even the credibility of these organizations is questioned over a debunked fake news which doesn't support their belief. Now that we know the dangers that a fake news can possess, we should understand how it can be identified. Don't trust everything you see. Even salt looks like powdered sugar. This is a simple yet a very powerful quote, and this applies to all the news, irrespective of whether it's genuine or just there to fuel hatred. There is a simple pattern in the fake news that we consume. It is usually targeted towards a community or has some reference which triggers emotions in the wrong way. This has become even easier with the increasing use of social media, which has created echo chambers of people that share similar ideologies, due to which any other perspective is filtered out. For example, crimes are reported in such a way that we tend to focus on the criminal, not for the crime they have committed, but the community they come from. We start judging them for their faith and not their actions or the thought process that led to them committing such a crime. Since we already have an opinion about a certain scenario in our mind, it becomes easier to fall for fake news without even trying to look for the other side. Now that we have identified the news as fake, let us look at how we can save ourselves from the trap of falling for fake news. First of all, we need to accept the fact that identifying fake news takes time, interest, concern, and a lot of research to check the authenticity of the facts. If you are a person who is willing to seek the truth, you'll put in some effort to fact check the news before sharing it. There are multiple fact check websites where you can send the news to check whether it's true or not. But to be honest, who has the time, right? In that case, the next point is very valuable to understand. Second is that we should never jump to conclusions. Rather, we should look at both sides of the story and discuss it with our friends or family with a positive attitude and a clear mind without trying to build a bias about the topic. Third is that any news that spreads hatred shouldn't be circulated, as it has the potential to cause chaos, whether it's fake news or real. At times, even real news is misinterpreted, and this leads to a divide which could result in things blowing out of proportion. Fourth would be that we should never fall for the headlines, as headlines are just there to grab your attention. Forming your opinion by just reading the headlines and not going through the whole article is one of the most careless things that we can do. And most of all, try to recognize the bias you have and make a conscious effort to overcome it by exposing yourself to not just one, but various qualified professionals. The main challenge has never been about those people who are willing to do the research on their own, but for those people who don't know how media manipulation works. This is where channels like ours comes into the picture, which focus on collecting all the facts on a topic and putting it in one place for you to read and interpret, with all the sources and without any opinions. This way, you think more logically than emotionally and make well thought out opinions. So make sure to subscribe to this channel and also follow us on our Instagram page where we break down topics on a daily basis. I hope this video was able to help you understand how fake news works and how you can overcome your bias. Please make sure to share this with as many people as possible, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel with the notification bell on so that you can stay updated on our later videos.